Once upon a time, a poor woodcutter lived at the edge of a dark, deep forest. He had two children. The boy's name was Hansel, and the girl's name was Gretel. Their mother had died many years before. Now they lived with a woman who was not kind. She was their stepmother, and she did not love the children. Times were hard. There was little food in the house. The woodcutter worked every day, but he earned only a few coins. Often, the family had nothing to eat but dry bread and a little water. One evening, the stepmother whispered to the father while the children were in bed. "Listen to me," she said. "There is no food left. Tomorrow we must take Hansel and Gretel deep into the forest and leave them there. They can no longer stay with us." "No," said the woodcutter. "I love my children. I cannot do that. They will die." "If we don't do it," the woman replied, "we will all die. There is no other way." Hansel and Gretel were not sleeping. They heard every word. Gretel began to cry, but Hansel whispered, "Don't worry, little sister. I will think of something." When everyone was asleep, Hansel got up quietly. He opened the front door and stepped outside. The moon was full and bright. On the ground, he saw small white stones shining in the moonlight. He filled his pockets with the stones and went back to bed. In the morning, the stepmother gave Hansel and Gretel each a small piece of bread. "Don't eat it too fast," she said. "It must last all day." They walked into the forest. The trees were tall and the path was long. As they walked, Hansel dropped the white stones behind him, one by one. In the afternoon, the parents lit a fire and said, "Sit here and rest. We are going to cut wood. We'll come back soon." But they never came back. Hansel and Gretel waited by the fire until night came. They were afraid. Strange sounds came from the trees. The wind howled. Owls called. Wolves howled far away. Gretel cried, "We are lost." Hansel held her hand and said, "Don't be afraid. When the moon rises, we will follow the white stones." At last, the moon came out, and the shone like silver. Hansel and Gretel followed the trail all the way home. They knocked on the door. The father opened it and was happy to see them, but the stepmother was not. Days passed. Again, there was no food. The stepmother told the father, "We must take them farther this time, and don't let the boy pick up stones." Hansel heard the plan. That night, he tried to go outside, but the door was locked. In the morning, the stepmother gave them bread again. Hansel broke his piece into crumbs and put them in his pocket. They walked deeper into the forest. This time, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs along the way. Again, the parents left them by a fire and said they would return. But the children waited and waited, and no one came. That night, Hansel said, "We will follow the breadcrumbs." But when the moon rose, they saw that all the crumbs were gone. The birds had eaten them. They walked through the forest for many hours. They were tired, hungry, and cold. The trees looked the same in every direction. They did not know which way to go. Then, after a long time, they saw something strange in the distance. It was a small house, but it was not like any other house. The roof was made of chocolate. The walls were made of cake. The windows were made of sugar glass. Hansel ran forward and broke off a piece of the roof. Gretel took a bite from the window. Suddenly, a voice came from inside. "Nibble, nibble, little mouse, who is eating at my house?" The door opened. A very old woman came out. She had a cane and gray hair, but her eyes were sharp. She smiled and said, "Dear children, you must be so hungry. Come inside. I have warm beds and food for you." Hansel and Gretel followed her. Inside there was soup, milk, pancakes, apples, and honey. They ate and ate. Then they went to sleep in soft, clean beds. But the old woman was not kind. She was a witch. She built her sweet house to catch hungry children. In the morning, Hansel woke up in a cage. The witch laughed. "You will stay here. I will make you fat. Then I will eat you." Gretel had to cook and clean. The witch gave Hansel rich food every day, but gave Gretel only scraps. Each day the witch said, "Show me your finger. Let me feel if you are fat." Hansel was clever. He held out a chicken bone instead of his finger. The witch had poor eyesight. She could not tell the difference. Weeks passed. Finally, the witch lost her patience. "He is not fat, but I will eat him anyway," she said. "Gretel, heat the oven now." Gretel was scared. "I don't know how to do it," she said. "Can you show me?" "Foolish girl," the witch said. She bent over and looked into the oven. Quickly, Gretel pushed her inside and closed the door. The witch screamed, but Gretel did not open the oven. Then she ran to Hansel and opened the cage. "Hansel, you are free," she said. They hugged and looked around the house. They found jars of gold coins, pearls, and shining jewels. They filled their pockets and left the house. In the forest, they found a small lake. A white duck helped them cross the water. Hansel and Gretel walked for a long time, through trees and over hills. At last they saw their house. Their father was outside. When he saw them, he ran and hugged them. The stepmother was gone. Hansel and Gretel showed him the gold. The family was poor no more. They had food, a warm home, and peace.
Enjoyed the story? Support the channel. Buy me a coffee.